Hi guys, another game talk with me now. Yellan, Sparta 0, Ajax 1. Yellan, tough game.
Yeah, thanks for having me, of course, again.
Anytime, man. Good to have you. And yeah, we Ajax had a tough game today. AstroTurf, not the best game from certain players, but we got the win. Should we be happy?
Um, we should be happy with the 3 points, and that's that. It was a really tough game. I think we touched upon this in the previous episode of Extra Talk, that it's really difficult to play against opponents who park the bus. And even the trainer of Sparta just said we're gonna basically park the bus. So they played with 5 defenders, 4 midfielders, and 1 striker. And the space between the defense and the midfield was at all times no longer than 15 meters. So you can understand that for players like Berghuis, it was a really difficult match because he likes to play between the lines, and there was just no room today. So yes, 3 points. I'm happy with that because we've lost points earlier this season against opponents who do this kind of tactics. So all in all, happy with that.
Well, you touched upon something, Berghuis, but for me also Blind. Those are key players in our team, I would say, and I'm missing kind of the quality that comes up when we play these kind of teams. It's all like, for instance, Blind is known for his passing. Today, his passing was really bad. I think I saw on WhatsApp somebody saying he had 30 misplaced balls. Like,
Really,
yeah, it didn't like
I knew it
30
was a lot,
passes.
but
Didn't
not that
even. Yeah,
much.
that's a lot of passes not
Yeah.
coming at an at a player. So Blind didn't have a great game. Berghuis, okay, I understand that you're saying, yeah, they're parking the bus, so he's not playing well. But where are his between the line passes for, let's say, a Danilo or
Yeah.
a Neres or a Tadic? I see little from him, man. And even the long balls that he tries are not always good.
You mean in these kind of matches,
Well, we know
or in
Berghuis, for
general?
instance, has a good shot, right?
Yeah,
He only tried it once today.
true. Yeah, in the last 5 minutes, I think.
Exactly.
Um,
Should
yeah, I
we
think
be
that
expecting more from Berghuis, or is this what we should expect?
I think he needs room to play. He is, as they say, not very good in small spaces. He's not a very well. He's agile, but he needs to see room in front of him so he can speed up the play. Another example is, for instance, Gravenberg, who last year every pass of him uh, was forward, and
Yeah.
now all of his passes are to the back. So that's also like slowing down the play. And I think that Berghuis usually does an okay job in speeding up the play when there's enough room. So we see it at Dortmund, we see it at Sporting, those kind of matches. There's more room to play. So in these kind of matches, I feel it's hard to expect more from a player like Berghuis. I mean, I want to, um, but it's just not his style of game.
Look, I will explain my point of view. At Feyenoord, I saw some beautiful crosses from him from the side. I saw some beautiful, um, yeah, in Dutch you would say steak ball, but a ball that cuts through the defense and puts
Yes.
somebody in the right position. I don't see that much from him, but
No, it's a totally different position because when we look at playing at the 10 position or at the outside winger position, there were at all times 2 or 3 players within 5 meters of him today. So I don't think it's really comparable between the two. Because on the wing there was much more space. We saw it at Neres; he had a lot more space to play today, and even in the last 15 minutes, I think, when Klaassen came into the team, he had a lot more space. So I think it mostly has to do with the room he got to play, which was not a lot today. But still, I think he should have done more to get out of this. Well, yeah, with this confinement that he has from all the players. So I think he could do more, but I don't want to say necessarily that we should expect more from him in terms of that he's now declining in his form or anything. It's just a difficult game for him.
difficult game. Okay, we had two different players today starting, Neres and Danilo. What did you think of them? What did you think of the game? Like in general, first half things that stayed with you, and in the second half.
Yeah, first of all, in the first half, the pace of the game, of the build-up was way too slow. So in order to break down the wall they built at Sparta, you have to like speed up the play. We saw this only actually at the 0-1, so the goal from Tadic is that there was one-touch passes, 3 or 4 in a row, and then we found the goal. And that was maybe the only one, or maybe another instance that we did that. Other than that, it was way too slow.
Do you think the
And
Danilo assist was on purpose?
Yeah, I actually wrote it down because I think it was on purpose, because he didn't even try to like aim for one of the corners, because from that position where he would always shoot in the nearby corner and not in the far corner, because that would have been easier. So I think he saw Tadic. That it worked out this way was maybe a little lucky, but I think it was intentional. Yeah,
And much needed goal, of course.
definitely, yes. Also, I think the only real chance we got up until then, which
And
is
yeah, till then, yes, but then you got the nearest cross on the Danilo
yeah.
header. Yeah.
Yes, good header, especially for a player who's not that tall, so he jumps very high.
Yeah.
So that's good. All in all, what I think the problem of Ajax is that Ten Hag always says we have more than 11 first line of players, but he doesn't utilize them very well. I think we need in these matches to rotate more, because we see the form of Neves and Danilo is just not there, and I think it's a lack of uh, first team exercise, like lack of playing
Experience.
matches,
Yeah.
experience in the matches. Even if it's Sparta, if it's RKC, it doesn't matter. We need to rotate more,
I
because
think
we
Ten Hag, when he sees the 0-1, he thinks the risk is too high to bring in certain players. Like I would have loved to see Darami. Everybody
yes,
said that he played very bad against Besiktas, but he was still very energized, very like being in the positions he needed to be. Yeah, his finishing wasn't there.
no.
But do you think he was punished today, not coming in?
I'm not sure what it was. I actually wrote this down as well. Is that's why I gave Ten Hag. We come to the ratings later, but the rating that he did, because I think he should have brought Darami in, especially when Darami is a player who can create something out of nothing, and that's what we needed in a match like today. Punished, I don't know. I don't think Ten Hag is in the business of punishing players when they have a uh, bad match, because in the past people have stayed on the pitch who had several bad matches, so that
Yeah.
would be a first. And I don't think that it was that bad that he needed to be punished for it. So
Well, well, after that game, Darami kind of got crucified for the amount of chances he missed and that he needs to learn a lot. But I wasn't that shocked that a young guy still needs time and he's not getting any matches to play. So this is his first match being back in. I was like pretty surprised he was doing all he was doing and getting in the positions to
yeah.
score. So that's something we praise Haller for, but Darami, you're not praising him for.
Yes, I think that also if you look at the position and the type of player Darami is, I don't think he's like a clinical finisher. He's more like the player who creates the chance, and then he needs to have more composure in front of goal to either give the final pass or score himself.
Yeah.
And that's something you can develop. Like the one-on-one skills he has, like beating the man, that's something you either have or you don't. So I'm very happy to see that, and the other things will just come in with experience and with confidence.
But even a player like Tagliafico that played very well on Tuesday or on
Yeah,
Wednesday, sorry, um, came in at the 86th minute.
yeah.
And for a Blind that played terrible today. So is there something wrong with the substitutions of Ten Hag? Yes, maybe. I don't know what you think about that. Should he have done things different?
Yeah, I've touched upon this a couple of times already. Ten Hag has a problem with substituting his key players, and I'm talking Tadic or Blind. We've
Some
seen in
kind
the
of
past he just
favoritism, you
doesn't.
mean?
I think that he's afraid that a leader will step out of the pitch, and then the structure of the team will start to disintegrate, maybe, or
So even if a leader is playing bad, he still rather put the leader in than a substitute that can play better.
You saw this with Tadic. He played some horrible matches this year, and he kept his place because he's captain. And even when Haller was scoring 4 goals a match, he would rather take Haller off than Tadic. When you could put Darami in the place of Tadic easily, and wouldn't have to change anything about the team.
And we should see Blind at the same level as Tadic for this team.
I think in terms of his role and his importance for the team, yes. Yeah. And it's a shame that we have a guy like Tagliafico who is that good coming on in the 86th minute.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Honestly, if we elaborate on that, we should find a solution for him, for his career.
Yeah, true. What did you think of Neres? Because we talked a lot about Danilo.
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people complaining about Neres' performance. What about you? What did you think?
I was one of those people. I am one of those people who complain about his performance, and I think it's a tad unfair at sometimes, because you can expect someone who plays that little in the first team to be putting on a form that he did 3 years ago when we had the insane Champions League run, where he was one of the pillars of that team.
True.
Anthony has just surpassed him in quality and by far. So it does also do something with his confidence, I think. So it's maybe unrealistic to expect from Neres what we are expecting. And if we try to judge him at what his level is now, he doesn't even do so bad. So it's that we expect too much from him.
I saw some old Neres things during the Besiktas game. I think today was a difficult game for him, especially because of the double coverage.
Yeah, and first half, lots of bad passes. Also, I think if you have double coverage, which he had in the first half, well, not maybe double, but like
it was crowded.
Coverage, yeah. Keep it simple. And sometimes it looks like he wants to overcompensate and want to do the hard stuff to show off that he's still like a good player and needs a first team spot. So I would keep it simple if I would play there, but I don't.
I asked Sahbi also this question. Mr. Ajax, Sjaak Zwart, was at Goedemorgen Eredivisie this morning and said, against these teams, take one defender off, put 4 attackers in, you would have 2 attackers more central and 2 wingers. What's your opinion on
that? It's a little bit of a double-edged sword. I get where he comes from, because you would have more options, but it's also more congested in the same area. So I don't see it would necessarily be better. I think it's on the Ajax style of play. So like one-touch football in short, small spaces. I think that's where the key lies, and not just overloading the front of the pitch.
Okay, so you wouldn't do it?
I wouldn't, no.
Okay.
No, because when you see with Mazraoui, he's coming into the striker positions a lot more. So then you already have one extra player up front. He's maybe not a striker, but it does create some confusion in the defense of Sparta. We saw it today as well. I think I even gave Mazraoui the highest rating.
Oh, really? Was he your man of the match?
No, because he wasn't decisive enough in terms of a goal or an assist. But I do think he was defensively good, and he was dangerous in offense, which he is all year. So all in all, I think he had the best performance, but it wasn't a decisive performance.
And who was your man of the match?
Tadic, just because of the goal.
Just because of the goal?
Yeah.
What do you think of Martinez? Because I had them very high.
It's really hard to judge defenders in a match like this because there wasn't a lot to do.
There were a lot of long balls going to Martinez, and he had a attacker in his back, so he could have gone
in the first
making mistakes there.
Of course, but do we judge them on not making mistakes, or do we judge the players on excelling in an area that's actually decisive? Because not making mistakes, in my opinion, is what we can expect from defenders. So I judge him on extra.
Every moment for a defender one-on-one is a dangerous situation, and you have to still win it. So that's one. And he gave that beautiful pass on Noose going into the box. So he's really like showing his grinta, but like with the finesse a little bit, like that he's not only a fighter.
True. Also a good option. I do think that maybe it's also my way of viewing football, because I always tend to look at the players who are up front and I tend to overlook the defenders. So it might also be a little bit my way of viewing football, which is sometimes sad for defenders because they have a very a job that's
Important
not.
role. Yeah.
Yeah, they have an important role, but not always it's
No.
shown how important. So it's good that you touch upon that. But still, I think in a dead match like this, if you make the difference, you deserve my vote.